Good afternoon, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you having a great weekend and God bless you. Alright, the following is a collection of news from Patriots. Let's get into the news. The Attorney General of New York is suing Donald Trump for allegedly severely overvaluing property. This is a Commercial Observer article. AG James sues Trump for allegedly severely overvaluing property. The suit wants to bar Trump and 3 of his children from doing business in New York. Now, not only is this so absurd, but it inadvertently sheds light upon the hundreds of millions of dollars, actually billions of dollars in real estate holdings by Democrats in New York like Michael Bloomberg. So this is a Commercial Observer article, but you can look at a Business Insider article here. Bloomberg main home is a 5-story townhouse in Manhattan's Upper Ritzy Upper East Side, which he bought in 1986 for $3.5 million. Okay. At the end of his last term as mayor, the billionaire spent at least $1.7 million renovating the home. Zillow estimates its value at $17.7 million. Do you think he's going to sell the house if he wanted the home, if he wanted to sell it? For $17.7 million? Do you think he's probably going to go at $25 million? Since he's Michael Bloomberg, and he was a former mayor and Democratic presidential candidate, because there are other factors involved, not just an appraisal from a real estate company or from a bank. We're not even going to get into a CNBC article. Deutsche Bank loaned $2 billion to Donald Trump over 2 decades. Okay. I don't think they were losing money. I don't think they need the Southern District of New York to go to bat for them. I think the people at Deutsche Bank know what they're doing a little bit more than prosecutors who get paid by tax dollars from the city of New York. Very intelligent people, but they despise and have only contempt for Trump. And Donald Trump is going to release all of these numbers in a court of law. You're not going to prove that he engaged in this massive fraud when a big part of real estate valuations is what people will pay for. If not, just there's no set number. It's not like you can put it's not like a baseball card. Like yeah, like Beckett back in the day. You could look into Cal Ripken rookie, okay? Now it's all MSW is like you have to go and get it like graded. It's all nonsense, but you're not talking about something with a fixed valuation. You're talking about real estate in New York, the most expensive along with Hong Kong, Dubai, a couple other cities around the world. Tokyo, the most expensive property and real estate in the world. In the other short, basically, Trump has been cleared of all crimes. He's going to release this information inside Michael Bloomberg $45 million call Colorado Ranch. Business Insider. Do you think he's going to sell the Colorado Ranch eventually for $45 million? Do you think a bank is going to? Do you think that he's not going to be able to get loans from a bank? Because instead of the $45 million, he values it at $52 million, or $55 million, or even $60 million. He'll get the loans. Deutsche Bank, for example. This is a CNBC. Deutsche Bank loaned more than $2 billion to Trump over 2 decades from the New York Times. Do you think Deutsche Bank was deceived by Trump? Why don't they go to the New York Attorney General years back 20 years ago? Maybe because the whole thing was meant to go after Trump. Maybe because Democrats are going after the direct political rivals. By the way, I have a very important shortcoming out regarding the bias that the DOJ admits. The Inspector General Horowitz actually admits a whole bunch of really despicable behavior. So that is very interesting. He'll speak alongside myself in the next short. But here you have a London property. Where $25 million London mansion, top a town and country magazine inside Michael Bloomberg, a $25 million London mansion. Do you think maybe if somebody, some wealthy person, somewhere on the planet says, you know what, I'll give you $35 million for the mansion. Let's say they go to Michael Bloomberg. And they say, I would like to buy your property in London, your mansion? And they say, well, it's worth $25 million, I'll give you $40 million. Does that mean he's deceiving the bank? If you can find somebody that's going to give him $40 million. I mean, it's the stupidest lawsuit. But it's a civil case because they can't find a crime. You have to understand something. These people know nothing about real estate, or really even business. You don't have to be this, you don't have to be Elon Musk. You don't have to be this, Jeff Bezos. You don't have to be this maverick, billionaire businessman and entrepreneur. You don't have to be like. This isn't something that you just need basic logic, cursory knowledge of real estate and business to know that the lawsuit in New York is completely absurd. We can go on forever and Trump's gonna use this. He's gonna use all these valuations, You're gonna say, well, you know what? Bloomberg owns a home in the Hamptons. The next destination for Abbott and DeSantis, which he bought for about $20 million in 2011. Okay. What do you think it's worth now? 40 million? Or whatever. 35 million, 30 million? Did he do renovations to it? The point is, you're not going to be able if Trump owns major real estate in New York, Atlantic City, and throughout the world, okay, in the UK, and throughout the world, you're not going to be able to prove, number one, that he inflated his net worth. You'd have to know, like literally nothing about business, to accuse him of that. Since the lenders didn't care. They gave him the money and they made money. Also, like he explained to Hannity on Fox News, they were disclaimers that they had to sign an appraisal of a property is not like setting, it's never set in stone. It's never set in stone. And when you're negotiating a property, and so when you're trying to get money from a bank, they also appraise the products, not like Trump forces a bank to lend him money. The banks know that he's built a brand. And he's a former president. But even before that, he built a brand that will always generate revenue. He doesn't even have to really own a property, he could just. And because he puts his name on a hotel or a golf course, he generates a great deal of income. And he probably doesn't have the debt because he doesn't own the entire property. It took him 10 years to conquer Hollywood. And now you have all of these morally superior Hollywood directors, who were friends with producers and directors who now are either in prison or hiding serious crimes. And you have all these actors who were in The Apprentice and then now of course, they're really against Trump, And it's the man knows how to make money. And people who do business with him generally make money. You can say, well, the USFL didn't work out, okay? You're never going to have a billionaire where every single venture works out. Or a billionaire that hasn't been sued. Or a billionaire that doesn't have some controversies, but the man makes money. And I mean, we can look right here. The Hamptons, 20 million. He owns waterfront home and Remuda. Michael Bloomberg does $10 million. London, okay, 25 million. He owns a 72-room hotel-like building in Colorado. This is the good Democrat. This is the Democrat that admits that he's so privileged to have made his billions when he didn't have the billions to begin with. But he made the billions through meritocracy, but he's pretty good. He's privileged. And so Bloomberg goes a 14,000 square foot home in Florida. Okay. DeSantis, he bought the 5.8-acre estate in 2016 for $11.8 million. Okay. What's it worth now? You tell me. I mean, you're talking about billionaires, and he's gonna go, and what they've done is, a lot of times in real estate, you buy a house, and the appraiser looks at the comparable houses, the houses on that block, that houses on that street, or in that neighborhood. And they say, well, what? The average price of the house in your neighborhood is this price. And you know what? You either did remodeling or you didn't remodel. I mean, that's just for a house. You're not talking about a $20 million, $30 million, and 40 cents $5 million property. So you have this here, it's like this 214-page civil suit. Why didn't they file a criminal case? I mean, you have an attorney general who's on video stating that she is going to be a nightmare to Trump and go after Trump and Donald Trump. And this is why you should vote who are 2 words Donald Trump. Okay. What's wrong with Donald Trump? We had record low in poverty in 2019. What is it about a record low in poverty that Democrats don't like? The entire allure. The whole entire reason to be a Democrat or a socialist, or an on the left, is that you care about poor people. But how can you care about poor people if poverty is up now? Okay. Poverty is up now at like 15% with a 10%. Under Trump, 10.5. Under Trump in 2019, we had a record high and household median incomes record high. They've now descended. Did I not tell you the economy's going to plummet, and we're in freefall? I don't want that to happen. But when you shut down economic activity, you have to be an imbecile. You have to be a complete and utter imbecile to think that shutting down economic activity wouldn't open up a Pandora's box of endless economic problems. But apparently, Paul Krugman and Robert Rice and the wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats who happen to be economists, so there are liberal Democrats who happen to be historians looking at Trump and saying this is I've never seen this. Yeah, you've never seen Peter Strzok or Comey or McCabe or Clapper Brennan, Go after an incoming candidate. Either have you've never seen a Steele dossier purchased by a candidate's direct political rivals used against them. You haven't seen a lot of things. I love how they can delineate so easily between all of the dirty tricks leveled at Trump into the nasty, despicable, sinister tactics level, the Trump and the apoplectic media coverage, and their sensibilities regarding this man. You saw Boris and he's, my God, everyone thinks he's a criminal. But they have been indicted him now. They might indict him in 2023. They can indict an innocent man. But that'd be very difficult for them. They lose a court, they lose a trial. And they would lose the trial and he would become even more popular as it is right now. He's beating mashed potato brains in the RCP average of polls. And that's with the entire American political system from Jimmy Kimmel and Late Night and Stephen Colbert, to loyalists within the DOJ and Federal Bureau of Investigation after him. Tech, the New York Times, the Washington Post, almost every publication aside from a handful of honest good publications, looking at Hunter and actual criminal activity, bribery and graft. When you had an intellectual weeks back saying, Trump University is worse than anything that any kickbacks. What kickbacks? All you're going to alter US foreign policy. You're going to go have grafted on bribery is what takes down government. So you're going to allow graft and bribery. That's fine as long as Trump University, as long as what? There's nothing. Nobody has ever accused him of bribery or graft or kickbacks. Could you imagine if there were emails saying how can you use your influence on the company's behalf? I mean, watch the short on this channel. Comey basically says some people are above the law, some people aren't. The people who are above the law are called Democrats, the people who aren't are called Trump or any of his supporters. But anyway, give me your thoughts below. Trump's gonna release these numbers in a court of law. And he's probably going to get very detailed. He probably knows exactly what all the other billionaires is, like 80 billionaires in New York. And most of them are probably Democrats, or actually, maybe half okay, or grow good number, probably most aren't. Maybe half. And he's gonna probably find you probably knows exactly how they leveraged, how they, got loans for all these properties, or how they initially, got deals from banks, because of the valuations of their properties, which are very similar to the valuations that he has. And then it's going to backfire. And then, of course, the Southern District will very likely in New York get a lot of heat from Democratic billionaires like Michael Bloomberg, because they're shedding light on the way business is done in New York, by the the wealthiest and most powerful. And that's just the way. It's probably not that different from buying a home. From an average person buying a home. The real estate value, you're always negotiating, and you're always negotiating with the bank. It's not going to work out and he's going to win in a court of law. This is hilarious because it sheds light on the hundreds of millions of dollars in properties that Democrats own and that Democrats have, quote unquote, overvalued or inflated. Hopefully you folks enjoyed this chat this morning. Thank you very